Hi, this is Shirish Kulkarni, founder and CEO of Stroth Consultech. Has been in this space for the last 5 years, helping small and medium businesses to stabilize and grow. In this initiative called as Hatke, we've talking to various eminent personalities, individuals who mattered a lot. Their journey, their life, their professional journey has been something as a definite path that others should follow, and they have made a lot of impact on the ecosystem as such. So we have a great pleasure to have Mr. B.S. Patil with us. Welcome, Mr. B.S. To this platform.
Hello, hello, Jirish.
Wonderful. Good, good. So,
It's my pleasure to.
right. So, he is an expert in engine and transmission. Started his career in engine as a focus, then moved on to transmission. And I believe I have some statistics about him where 23 engines and 14 new transmissions that he has built from scratch, 7 engine lines, and similar 8 transmission lines he has built. And the smallest of the smallest engine that Mahindra has produced, and the largest one, which is 9.3 liters, he has been the part and parcel. So it's an honor to have you, Mr. BS, and your name itself as BS says a lot. So how do you look at all this journey that you had?
Yeah, actually, for me, this was a really exciting journey. So, total, it was span of almost 39 plus years. So, I joined Mahindra somewhere in 1980, and now it is. I retired in 2020. So it's almost, if you consider my training portion also, it is almost 40 years.
Wow.
And it's really I will say it's a very wonderful journey. And see, I'm very happy here. I was very happy because I could do what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
and that is what kept me going on in the organization, and that is why that is how I remained in one organization for so long.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So actually, I passed out from VJTI, Mumbai, and it was a campus selection.
Wow.
So and joined Mahindra. So we had some sandwich course, and we had some 6 months training also. So the training was also in Mahindra, college training was continued for company's training. I got confirmed also in Mahindra. So that
Excellent.
time, it was like in VJTI, if you become mechanical or production engineering, Mahindra will definitely pick you up. So that was a thing. So because that was automobile company and our branch was very much close to automobile in manufacturing. So I became a part of it. And then
It's amazing, actually. It's wonderful to see you part of so many projects, so many large things that might. So, looking back, actually, is it getting you a little bit nostalgic? अरे ये भी किया, अरे हे पण झालं, अरे ते पण केलं, अरे ते. So, do you feel nostalgic?
yeah, very, very much. Especially when I visit Kandivali plant, because I started my career in Kandivali plant in Mumbai. So whenever I go there and I visit those lines, I really get nostalgic. Those were the areas when during my early days when I was junior and I used to work on that. Then say we worked on this, we created this, then we created this, then we see some machines, we see some operations, and then we remember how much we have struggled in establishing those things. And most wonderful thing is, like me, there are many more people in Mahindra who have been so long journey. So we meet them. So we many times we revive our memories. So really a great thing.
Excellent, excellent. आणि just talking about the smallest and the largest engine, any specific experience or memories that you have about?
Yeah, actually, on the first we will go with the smallest engine. So this was a single cylinder engine which were fitted on the Jito vehicle of Mahindra. So this was the first time when Mahindra wanted to produce a single cylinder engine, and that too for a vehicle like Jito, which is we call it bottom of pyramid product. So it was a very a commercial product with a low cost. So uh, like we wanted to make a line, manufacturing line, which was in line with other engines. But the challenge was not to make a line like what we have other lines. We have to make a line which is very frugal, but no compromise on quality.
Wow.
So this was the challenge. So what we did, they said, you visit, you see the two-wheeler manufacturers, how they make the engines, and try to replicate those things. We have our two-wheeler plant, Mahindra two-wheelers in Pithampur. So we visited there. Then we visited some of the two-wheeler manufacturers also. And from there we could build a line which is a very frugal concept, but could deliver whatever is just required. It's not a very hi-fi line, but it delivered the product, what the product wanted. And the line was, and the most important thing there, this line we have put up in a plant, that is Hyderabad plant in Andhra Pradesh. Now it is Telangana, where that plant did not have a background of engine manufacturing. So that was another challenge for us. We successfully did it, and it was really a great success. Even still, when I see that line, I get that feeling of accomplishment.
Wow.
And then then the series followed. We started with diesel, then we introduced petrol engine, we introduced CNG engine on the same lines.
Excellent.
But it was definitely a challenge to make such a small engine. Then going to a big engine, that is 9.3 liter. So it's a monster, 9.3 liter. For us, it's a monster. So, and the sheer size of engine is very big, and the application called for a very low volumes. So a big engine to be made on a low volume with a flexibility of higher volumes. So that was a challenge. So, but we could successfully do it. Again, that line also the concept is the same. Because of the low volume, the line has to be very frugal, while no compromise on quality. See, sometimes I feel that making a hi-fi lines with all features and very sophisticated line is much easier than making a frugal line with all quality parameters maintained, because we are working under constraints.
Right.
So,
actually, it's an amazing dimension of using frugal as an approach, which if you see, it's not looked at where cost is less, but it is where you try to find out a solution which is the most economical, most fitting, most easy, and easy not to just design but also implement and operate.
absolutely.
I believe that is what you mean by frugal, right?
That is the thing. Yes, that is the meaning of frugal. So somebody is saying that it is very easy to make a complex product to deliver the performance, but it is very difficult to make a simple machine to deliver the same results. So making it simple is more difficult than making it complex.
I mean, as I was speaking to others also, I heard that this same degree of passion and success that you have had with even the smaller engine to be implemented for the end-to-end manufacturing, as well as a large engine which has got maybe 50-fold higher size of, all the parameters are higher there. I mean, you talk about pressure, you talk about temperature, you talk about power, you talk about torque, everything is large. Everything has to be handled in a different way, but still frugal. I think that's the key to success.
Yes. What yeah, you have put it rightly. So that frugality, in fact, I will say frugality is in Mahindra's DNA. So we always try to produce, uh, we always try to make manufacturing which is much frugal than all our competitors, while we do not compromise on quality. So that is where the competence comes.
Excellent. Amazing. I am seeing that sense of accomplishment right now in your face. So it is really an inspiring moment or inspiring feeling that I'm seeing that you've been there, done that, achieved that. So looking back, do you find anything that you remember some specific instance where you felt like, oh, I would have done it in a different way? Do you feel some of the things that you would have done in a different way?
Uh, there are lot more things which we could have done in a different way. Uh, uh, just some of our engines we wanted to make on our manufacturing lines. So uh, we had designed the. I'm talking of our current manufacturing line, engine lines, where we manufacture engines for
Mm,
our KUV, then TUV, the KUV engines, then our XUV 300 engines. All these engines are made in Chakan. These lines are basically they are 1.2 liter engines,
mm,
1.2 liter and 1.5 liter engines. So diesel and gasoline both. So when we conceptualize the line, that time, especially the machining lines, we had this was the first time we were making lines with very high volume, that lines which were capable of producing the volume of 150,000 per year and above. So
mm.
we conceptualized the line that time based on whatever product portfolio we had in mind. As that was way back in 2011, 12, well, 12 you can say. So you, later on, the new engines, new technology started flowing in, and then we realized that maybe we could have made the line, maybe we could have made the combined lines, added more flexibility,
Okay.
so that investment would have been less. But this we can talk
Afterthought.
because now we are in that scenario.
It's
That time it was
afterthought.
very difficult for us to imagine what
Yeah, yeah.
what solution
It's
we wanted.
yeah, yeah. It's an afterthought. It is
It's an
where now,
afterthought.
right?
Now we know that that line is capable of making 6 or 7 engines, different engines. Now
Right.
all the engines are now in front of us, so we know that maybe we could have done differently. But that time we had only one engine, two engines. Based on two
True.
engines, it is very difficult for a person to imagine what is going to be next engines. But
Absolutely.
we kept the flexibility to the best possible. I will say on a collective wisdom, we could put the flexibilities.
Yeah. I see, a question comes to my mind. I see in you as a person capable of handling a lot of ambiguities. I mean, when I'm just taking myself to years where you would have conceptualized maybe the first or second line, and as the number will go, crores of rupees, the budget will be, I'm not going into details, but will be there and the whole responsibility will be on your shoulder. Did you not feel any time scared? Oh my God, something goes wrong this way, that way? Uh, was there that feeling anytime?
I think what you say is right, because the decisions which we take on manufacturing side, it costs company in crores of rupees. If you put a one line, then it is costing so 300, 400, 500 crores. And a wrong decision will totally ruin the investment. But of course, we have to take a very calculated judgments. And you know, the inspiration behind this is our managing director, Dr. Goenka. So when we started engine projects, KUV engine project, he had called all of us. in Varali in his office, and we had a meeting. So that time he very clearly told us that, see, we are going on a very big project. That time the Chakan project was coming up. So it's a massive plan. You must have seen that plan possibly.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a massive 700 crores, 700 acres plan. So, and huge investments. So he said that yes, we had to take the calculated risk, and I don't want you to go in a conventional way and go in a conventional fashion. And you have to go out of box, and poke out of the box and find out the solution. And don't worry, if your head gets damaged in the process, but if you don't do this, then I will be the first person to chop off your head. So that he was always for taking the risk. So this risk-taking capability we have learned from him.
Wonderful.
And that is how all the things we could take it forward. But one thing we always think that how we can incorporate the flexibility in the lines. And we always work in gray. It is not black and white. So it is always gray. So we have to work within that. That if it happens, then what? If this happens, then what? We should be able to do both.
Right.
So, to best possible extent.
I think as I was trying to put it, ambiguity, playing with ambiguity, it's a gray area. You don't know whether this way, that way. But having options A, B, C, 10, maybe 10, 15 options planned, and then as you execute, switch between them as the way that is appropriate, right?
Yes, and in fact, sometimes, we start the project, and after 4 or 5 years, we complete the project. And then sometimes I just for the fun, I look back what I had planned when we started the project. Then we find, how much things have changed throughout the project.
True.
But, this is basically to take care of that, what you talked about, ambiguity, so that the things get crystallized within the 5 years.
As you know.
But the only thing is we have to keep a flexibility so that we are able to accommodate that ambiguity. And that is where the technical competence comes.
And I believe that you created that ecosystem also where the vendors, suppliers who are actually supporting you in manufacturing, setting up testing, are also equipped to handle that ambiguity, because they also have to be flexible to suppose tomorrow I say, okay, instead of this, I want something different. They should be capable to grasp that and do that for you, right?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, all along, all this handling this ambiguity, handling the challenges, we have a very two strong partners. One is our suppliers, all machine suppliers or system suppliers, and second is the project execution teams. Because the team also has to be equally flexible. They have to have open mind, and they should be open for changes and flexibility. Then only they can convince the suppliers and get it done. Fortunately, I had both of them. All our machine suppliers, in fact, the choice of suppliers we made, this was one of the most important criteria we used to find, that supplier should have open mind and he should have flexibility to change the things if required. Of course, everything has a cost attached to it. So that we pay. But supplier has to do the changes. And of course, the project team. So I was blessed with both of them.
Excellent. You know what? This reflects a personality. Now, if we have to talk about a kind of a calamity that we have seen in, say, COVID, the organization being capable, the leadership being, challenging, asking for risk, taking the risk, the projects being kind of elaborative and progressively defining the scopes, the team being capable of envisaging and executing it, the supplier ecosystem being also educated and capable of taking those shocks back and forth. It goes back and forth. I think that would have been the strength of this organization and your mindset to really see, how this pandemic thing would impact you, right?
Yes. In fact, if you look at the current scenario, what is going on, I think this is one of its kind. So we never ever imagined that such thing also can happen,
Mm.
and it has put some kind of uncertainty in the system, and this uncertainty can be taken care by only two or three things. Is, of course, we had to have a flexibility and agility in the system, so that as the customer preference changes, as the customer viewpoint changes, we should be able to change ourselves and respond to it at the fastest speed, so that we remain in the market. Because in the current scenario, sustenance is going to be of prime most importance.
Right.
And I think this is one strength of Mahindra, which we already had. We had cultivated this strength all along. This is going to help us to sustain in this particular scenario. In fact, now if we see the customer preferences, you must have seen, if you see the volumes of what happened in September,
True.
vehicle volumes.
Yeah.
Slowly, the vehicle volumes of September are now coming back
Picking up.
to
Yes.
the normal volumes. So, in fact, Maruti and Hyundai, they almost crossed the numbers.
Right.
Mahindra is on the way. Some of the other manufacturers are also picking up. But the total numbers are same, but the mix is changing. Mix is changing. Now there is more preference towards the personal vehicles and so many things. The challenge is how to meet the demand.
Mm-hmm.
How to meet the demand in terms of existing volumes and also the future models, whatever we are going to bring. That is going to be a challenge for the companies, everybody.
Absolutely. Actually, the whole demand, the psyche of the customer himself is changed due to this COVID,
Yes.
where I will say, okay, if I'm trying to buy, just an example, but if I'm trying to buy a luxurious car, I'll say, okay, fine, I might go for it maybe 3 years down the line. I'll take a functional one. I'll store that money. Maybe I'll use it for something else, right?
Absolutely. In fact, now the customer, what he may say is, first, if I'm going to buy a luxury car, then whether I can wait for some days. If not, at least whether I am able to sustain it. Those looking at the uncertainty which has come in the market.
Absolutely.
And then at the same time, there are a class of customers who want personal vehicles because of the transportation problems which have come up due to COVID.
Mm.
So all this has changed the equation of the market.
But
And
it is,
the system should be such that we should be able to change our internal product mix to supply to meet the customer demands.
But you know what? As you outlined the capability of the team and the structure and processes during implementation and design itself to cope up of all the changes, I believe product changes is like would be a piece of cake. I would call it not as simple as that, but it would be accommodated, right?
Yeah. In fact, see, the thing is, 4 to 5 months. This pandemic is since last almost 6 months now. We started somewhere in February. It started,
Right.
and now we are in October. So 6 to 7 months has passed. I think it is too early to do any permanent product changes.
Perfect.
Too premature to do product changes for this. But what can be done is, see, the product is not going to change much, but the customer preferences are going to change. So that is how we have to address the customer preferences. So because we will have a range of products. So the mix of those, the numbers, individual numbers, those may get reshuffled. So whatever strategy we had last year planned, say maybe 2019, and whatever strategy we will have 2020, there is going to be difference.
True.
But not much time has passed in between. So we have to see that we are able to manufacture even those numbers.
True. Actually, that's a very positive message when we are seeing that auto sector, which was the most impacted sector, and it has actually uh, effect on various other sectors also. Auto being the one which is the first one which got impacted the highest. If at all we are seeing the numbers to be reviving, I think it's a very good message, a positive message, and it will take its own time. It's a cycle; it takes time, but positivity will be definitely a message, right?
Yeah, in fact, one is this, and second is during this last 6 months, there are a lot of new things or new way of working has been have evolved now.
Right.
Those are going to, if those are going to, we are going to benefit out of those things. Just to give you one small example, typically for our when we produce new lines, there are big machines which are coming from abroad, means coming from Korea or Germany or those things. These machines are typically very expensive, costing some 8 crores, 10 crores per machine. When the machines are built there, these machines are tried out, means they are physically run by our engineers at suppliers and there in Korea, physically inspected. Then they are given a clearance and the machines are shipped here. This is long process in terms of time, because team has to form, then team has to go to that supplier abroad, spend there a week or 6 days or 8 weeks and come back. So time and money, both is expensive. What happened is, during this pandemic, it was not possible to go to those countries because travel was banned.
True.
But the work cannot stop. So what was done? So a new thought came up. Then why we should go physically there? Let us have in-camera inspection. Let us devise a method. Let us devise a method of what we need to inspect. Let us have a very frequent video conferencing with those teams, with our teams, and see everything in the camera and tell them. So what used to happen is, the supplier there, he used to go with camera on the machine and there was a team sitting in India in a conference room. So we were connected to them with WebEx. So he used to take the camera everywhere, this, then the team used to discuss. Then the team has to have discussions, and then they will tell you do like this, you do like this. Then we run the machine in front of us, see the outputs on the screen. Again, those will be shown here. So in fact, the team got much more exposure due to this, because they had to see everything very closely. And we could get the machines here without physically visiting Korea.
Wonderful. I think it's a very...
There were no surprises.
It's absolutely frugal way to use this difficult situation. One is that the team was more attentive for details.
Yes.
More number of people could get actually involved remotely.
Exactly.
Sitting here. Then cost of complete travel got, I would say, invested in some other more constructive way. And the time was in your hand, right? I mean, you don't have to have 7 days, so many days in the hotel, so many working hours, and
So normally, what happens is when the team goes there, so they have 5 days or 6 days, 5 days normally weekdays. Within the 5 days, they have to complete everything. So lot of things they cannot do. So, but they have to say, okay, you do this, and team will come back. Here, okay, we'll say we'll do this. You do all these things. Next week we'll again meet on VC, and supplier was also very happy because he was sitting in his company. He doesn't have to attend these people because once our people go there, he has to also attend those people. And from our side, the good is when we go there, we only 3 or 4 persons next to 3 persons actually can only go from one from each function. Here, a full team can sit. So there was a learning for junior members of the team. They can physically see what discussions are going on. So this is a very positive thing which has come up. Now we are saying why we can't do this permanently now.
It's a lessons learned, a positive thing which has happened due to this pandemic that you're taking as a best practice or set practice
Yes.
to the new normal.
So maybe in every case it may not be feasible, but even if we are able to do it for 50% of the cases, good enough.
It basically is a win-win from all point of views.
From all point of view. So this was just one example where all these things we could do it. And other thing is working from home. I don't think in my 39 years of career, we anytime felt that working from home is feasible for our type of work. Never. This was never an option. Everybody was thinking working from home matlab wo ghar mein maja mar raha hai aadmi. So now the thing is we have been forced to work like this. So lot of new things came up. How we can work from home, and now it is possible. We came to a conclusion that not in 100% cases, but a lot of things are possible. So every time if some person due to some personal this thing is not able to come to the factory, he can definitely work from home. Not everybody, but at least some people can definitely do it.
Right. Actually, it was in IT, which is still in IT. There was kind of a notion that you cannot work. There is work from home. There is a secrecy issue. There is a security issue. So people used to go to Hinjawadi in Pune. So many people. You will see the fleet of cars going, one person in a car, and gone are those days where things can get flipped and changed. Manufacturing is supposed to be absolutely person centric and has to be attended in person. And you were telling that even that got shattered as a myth. It's not possible to have.
But of course, this was for the functions like our manufacturing engineering. True. So maybe 100% cases it is not possible to apply. But even if we are able to do it on a regular basis for 10 to 25% of the cases, I think that will be an achievement for us. And this is a different type of working.
Yeah.
So, and it is accepted by everybody now.
True. I mean, there is no kind of a phobia or wrong things attached where people will be afraid. I think that is all gone. It is accepted.
Actually that is what you just pointed. Correct. You rightly said that phobia has been removed now from the system. That everybody feels that yes, it is possible. And in earlier scenario, nobody would have experimented this.
True, and that too, not in India only. It is all across the world. People are okay with it. There is no other way. Come on, we'll have to go ahead. We'll have to accept it. Let's go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think as I see your persona and the way that I see a fighting spirit, and to make your point and achieve certain things. That is a motto that you have been having in your life. So, do you feel now, looking back and looking forward, I want to do this. This is something that I still have not done it. I want to do that. Is that something that you have in mind? ये करना है, अभी ये रह गया. अरे, this is something I want to do. Is that something that is in your mind?
Yeah. In fact, this is precisely what now we are doing currently in the pandemic, digitalization. In fact, this was what we should have done long back,
Right.
which we were not able to do for many mind constraints what we had. There were no technological constraints. It was our mental constraints that this is not possible, but we are able to do. And second thing is, I still feel that there are many things on the shop floor, which are we still require physical attendance of many people. I'm not talking about the person who is working. I'm also talking about the people who are supervising.
Mm.
So we should be able to reduce that thing, supervisory thing, not on the shop floor. But supervisory will be required, but then it's not necessarily on shop floor. They can be in their office, or extreme case, even from the home also they should be able to control it. But it requires digitalization of the facilities. Then it also requires very strong and very reliable infrastructure to be built in terms of mechanical and IT infrastructure both. And both things actually can go hand in hand. Mechanical will become more reliable if IT supports it. If I know my machine is developing some problem in nascent stages and I attend it, I can always prevent the further breakdown and keep the machine going.
Absolutely.
So these things now they are started coming up now.
I think
So
what you're pointing to is
what we are planning.
absolutely. I think what you're pointing to is, if I'm not mistaken, IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things,
Industry 4.0 is
right?
basically talking of this. Yes.
Connected machines.
So, in fact, Industry 4.0 started taking shape in last 1 year. And I think after this now, the pace will be much faster. That is what I feel now. Because people have realized how important digitalization is in case of emergencies and situations like this.
What I saw around 1 year back or 1.5 years back is that all these business cases get discussed about IoT implementation or smart manufacturing implementation, where what is the return on investment, how will it happen, how many sensors are required. It's just going round and round and round. Now those questions are not there. This is okay. I want all these sensors, I want data, I want a dashboard here, and that's it. No, I want it to see it. I want to have a remote dashboard. I want this trigger. This way that thresholds have to be set, right? I think that is the mindset now.
And that is that should be the way. Industry 4.0 investment. It will be very difficult for an individual to justify based on ROI. It will be very difficult. So it has to be like what you said, that there has to be a strategic drive towards implementation. The benefits will be much more. Maybe at this point of it will be very difficult to quantify the benefits, but there will be tremendous benefits out of this. That is for sure.
Actually, the pandemic has taught that kind of a force, that has given a force in which the whole psyche will move towards IT. Whoever I'm talking to, IT is the backbone of something that if you have not done till now, if you're not able to do it in the past, now is the time that you must do it or you miss the bus.
Absolutely. In fact, two things have come very prominently in this pandemic. One is, of course, digitalization, Industry 4.0, all IT-based things. And second is employee health awareness.
Wonderful.
I think more and more focus now definitely will come on
Employees
health, employee health. Health, I mean hygiene and health, because as the experts are saying, this pandemic, the COVID is not going to go overnight. we will like to stay with it for some more years. And if we have to stay with some more years, we have to also sustain through it. So how the employees maintain their health in case of emergencies, how quickly they have been attended, so that uh, we start our work immediately very fast. In fact, last few months back, that was one of the major challenges for many industries, that the company starts, opens, suddenly there are 4-5 cases, especially for the small industries. This is to happen. 4-5 cases come up, the
Close.
company stop. Again, we have to wait for some days, again start. But in this, there is a lot of production loss. So the health focus, I think it will come up now.
I think,
And it will be from both the sides.
right.
Employee and employer both. Employees also have become more aware of these things now.
True. And as you are pointing out, it is a health which is both physical health, as you come in contact with different people, and mental health, where you have to be aware of what is right, wrong in that context.
Yes. In fact, mental health, when we talk of this, I remember in last few months when people were working only from home, 100% working from home, there is mental stress, because nobody is tuned to working only from home. Everybody are used to working on shop floor, in offices, working with colleagues.
Absolutely.
Suddenly you get isolated. So that used to put a lot of mental pressure.
True.
So that is another way, another area which needs to look in. That
Absolutely. Actually, if we go back to a little bit our ways of handling things, you will find vipassana, and I'm trying to bring another very different dimension of being alone, not speaking, as one of the ways of reviving and rejuvenating yourself. So maybe this is a forced forced way that the whole mankind is kind of put into the situation that abhi shant baitho, think through, don't run around. And this is
yes,
only human being. If you see, all animals are out, wind is blowing, trees are properly, nothing is stopped apart from movement of the mankind only. So I think it is spiritually somewhere that we have been, mankind is kind of a given a lesson.
yes. And another thing what I have found was, in all the scenarios of work from home, remote working everywhere, uh, there are two things which are most important. One is from leader side, that I will say, one is from the employees, rather the working side, that we had to be disciplined and we have to follow the discipline, because we are sitting in home and doing the work. So we have to follow a lot of discipline. Finally, the results has to be delivered. So without discipline, it is not possible.
Right.
And second thing, from leaders' perspective, it is the trust. The leaders have to trust their team members that yes, though they are sitting away from me, I know that they are doing the work, they are doing it properly.
Amazing.
See, if I am sitting in office and 10 people are in front of me, I see physically मैं वो काम कर रहा है कि नहीं, अरे वो काम कम कर रहा है. Here, but this is the trust which leaders have to develop.
Yeah. Actually, all this will stop micromanagement, being too much involved into things that should be delegated for the team to, be responsible. When the leader is intervening, the responsibility jumps back on his shoulder. So
Micromanagement will never work. That is very clear. And if
and
somebody is micromanaging, that means
right.
you are not a team member.
And a result centric, outcome centric kind of way. Okay, chum karo, kaisa karo, I'm not going to look at, but show me the results. 4 o'clock, I want the results. Tomorrow, I want the results.
So in my opinion, we should have a balance.
Sure.
One extreme end is micromanagement, that I want to know everything what my subordinates does. But other extreme is I am not bothered what he does,
No, no.
and I want the results. How he does, that is his problem. So somewhere in between, you have to be there.
Yes.
You have to be always tapping at the right point and keep the taps, but at the right point. At the same time, there should be enough freedom for the subordinates to deliver the things. So it's a very delicate balance. And one who is able to balance this is always a successful team.
Absolutely, absolutely. I heard, it's resonating to me that leadership qualities as well as, the individual has to be a team player to be more effective, and the team has to be along with him, especially with this challenging situation. I believe the trust, as you said, the
Yes.
leader having trust in the team matters a lot. The way that Mr. Goenka had been trusting, taking risk, and teaching and kind of cultivating that risk-taking ability there. That acts is me, not anything else. I'll fall on you. So let me not fall on you. Everything else will be hunky dory. Don't worry. I think that's kind of a management lessons that we have seen. Right? It's a great learning.
There is one very interesting experience what I had. I just wanted to share with you.
Absolutely.
When we started our Chakan plant, it was actually a farmland completely. There was nothing. It was just a land, bare land, and it's a total greenfield plant which came up. And that time we had a collaboration with Navistar for making those 6-cylinder engines, which are going on our heavy trucks, 7.2 liter engines.
True.
So somewhere in 2008, my boss called me. I was in Kandivali at that time, working in Kandivali. He said, in Chakan, there is such and such project is coming up. So I want you to work on this. So, till that time, I had not handled such a completely greenfield plant. So this was the first time I was little hesitant. So he found my hesitancy. He said, see, you have two choices. One choice is you handle everything single-handedly. You will be head of complete facility, right from first dig in the plant for the civil work till the handover of the completely ready plant. And you have a second choice, that you do only whatever you are doing currently. For remaining thing, I will put a second person and you will report to that person. Then, but is that in the first option, I will see to it that you never fall down. You never sink. I will be always behind you. If you are feeling you have any problem, you come to me. I said, the choice is done. So I became the project leader for this 6-cylinder engine plant. So I was handling even complete civil work, utility work, complete machine installations, everything. And to tell you, this was a new experience. Again, this is again what you call as a calculator risk taking. Because a lot of things I was not knowing only. So we took the risk based on limited knowledge, but they were not successful. And I never had to go to my boss crying that, boss, I am sinking, just lift me up. But that this one was behind me. His support was behind me. That yes, if there is any problem, I am there with you. That is excellent. What is important.
Good. I think it's a pride feeling where things are of such a large scale are successfully getting run as we speak, and we look back and think about how it got built. Being a leader of all the functionalities and functions, I feel it's an honor to be even talking to you, somebody like you.
Yeah, in fact, for me also it is very interesting to revive back my memories for last few years and just share with you.
That's wonderful. So, thinking about moving forward a little bit, how do you manage the now work-life balance has got changed now in pandemic as well as when you're not inline leader of that particular plant. So any kind of leisure thing that you do for yourself to be involved, some hobby or something that you entangle yourself.
Yeah, in fact, I am not able. I retired somewhere in April,
Yeah.
so I was not a part of this working in pandemic. In fact, after my retirement, actually, the major problem started of the pandemic. But what I like is mainly reading. I like to read books. So Marathi books, then English novels. So Marathi, my favorite author is Pula Deshpande.
Okay.
Most of his books I read. In fact, not only books I read, in fact, same books on audio also I hear,
Audio.
and not only once. Every time I hear, I come to know new and new things. So, and I also like music. I don't play music, but I like listening to it.
Wow.
Classical, not classical, maybe semi-classical, because I don't understand much of classical music, but I like to listen to it. Like if you say in Marathi, Geet Ramayan is one of my most favorite.
Wow.
All 56 songs, I think I must have heard more than 10, 15 times.
Wow.
Then every time I hear it, I get new meanings out of this. And so now in this pandemic situation, the reading was difficult because books were not available. So, of course, in digital form, a lot of books were made available that time. So that was a very good thing for me. So I had a lot of things. And of course, I can't go away from my passion. That is powertrain. So I keep myself abreast in all what is happening around powertrain, EVs, lot of things. So somehow I will say I'm busy throughout the day.
Excellent. I think keeping busy in this state is a blessing, and somebody who is somebody like you who has been involved in so many things, like a kind of a busy bee, always humming and always doing things. I think you will never stop thinking and working, right?
Yes.
So it's been wonderful, BS. It is a great honor, and I think I am humbled. The listeners also will be humbled with the kind of stature, experience, knowledge, abilities that you have demonstrated, and made projects successful. Thanks a lot for spending this time with us.
Thank you very much, Shirish, for this wonderful interaction. In fact, I am really happy that I could share a lot of things with you. And I hope that whatever little I have tried to pursue in my small discussion will be helpful for many people. So, thank you very much, Shirish.
Absolutely, our pleasure, and best wishes from all of us for you, the aspirations that you have, the way musical journey that you want to continue, the books that you want to read, and maybe more and more powertrains that you get indulged into. Maybe it could be electrical vehicle powertrains.
Yes,
maybe as a change of taste.
EV is the future now.
So all our best wishes are with you, and God bless. Keep you healthy and always engaged onto something that you love and have passions about.
Thank you very much, Shirish.
Thank you.
बिजनेस कोई भी हो, सक्सेस की नींव हम रखते हैं।
बुलंदियों को छूने की आपके अरमानों की उम्मीद जगाती जोत है, हर सपनों का हम स्रोत है।
सही स्ट्रेटेजी, परफेक्ट डिसीजन मेकिंग और बिजनेस ग्रोथ के लिए हम आपके साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर आपकी स्वप्न पूर्ति करते हैं। स्रोत कंसल्टेक, सिनर्जाइजिंग ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन।